Sameena Imam was about to have the best Christmas Eve in the year of 2014, and she had gotten everything she needed to make it perfect. At the time, Samina was in a long-term relationship, but she was leading a double life with her lover, Roger Cooper. However, it is unclear whether she was married or not. That Christmas, everything would change for her. It was decided that Samina and Roger would spend time at Birmingham's Malmason Hotel. By the new year, they would officially be a couple. Samina just wanted the man she loved, and she wanted it to finally feel real and be real. But it seems like this fairy tale was coming to a bitter end. While Samina was getting ready to start this new life and make a new change, Roger and his brother David, 39 years old, had been preparing to end her life. It would be found that Roger was having another affair with a colleague at Costco. By 6:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve, Samina would be dead. The hotel room she had booked was sat empty as the Cooper brothers set about to cover their crime. The start at a Costco store on the outskirts of Coventry in the United Kingdom. It was here Roger, a 41-year-old manager, and Samina had met. She was a regional marketing boss for the multinational locations. Having a relationship between senior staff was very much against the rules, but this hadn't stopped the two from building theirs. For 2 years they had a workplace affair, but by now Samina was becoming restless and gave Roger an ultimatum. Towards the Christmas holidays, he was to leave his long-term girlfriend, or it would be over between the two of them. Roger accepted this and said he would leave her. Their first attempt on Samina's life was to start in the early hours of the 12th of December 2014. She was a regular guest at the Solihull's Premier Inn, and after a Christmas party that night, she was going to stay there. Roger had spoken with her and told her that he wanted to meet her there, as he had booked a room for them as a surprise. In actuality, there was no room that had been booked, and Roger wasn't actually going to be there. At this time, David was sat in a hire car, ready to kidnap her in the car park. The brothers thought using Star Wars codes would keep their plan elusive. However, their plan failed, but detectives do not know what had gone wrong that night. Samina had made her way to the hotel to meet Roger. David had sent Roger a text in broken French. There's no point, no score. The window of opportunity is closed. So the brothers postponed their plan. In actuality, their plan was revived just 12 days later. At 4 p.m. Christmas Eve, Samina had left work just after Roger, each driving in their own cars. They then met up nearby where she grabbed her luggage from her car and got into Roger's. Her car was left on a side street while they drove towards Leicester. Detectives believed that she thought this was a quick visit before the planned one to Birmingham. During this short trip, she spoke with her sister for the last time, confirming plans to meet at her parents' home on Boxing Day. Around 5 p.m, they arrived in Leicester at David's house. It's believed that Samina was attacked by David upon entering his home. Both brothers were over 6 foot tall, and Samina was 5'2". They both towered over her. She was smothered with chloroform. A random concoction of metallic elements was given to Samina in liquid form. Around 6:25 p.m, Roger started driving back to Coventry, leaving his brother to dispose of her body. Roger wanted to make it seem that she was still alive and sent a text to himself from her phone. "I am fuming. I am going to where I truly am cared for." On the other hand, David was attempting to get rid of her body. Pathologists found she had been transferred to a grave within just mere hours of her death. The body was wrapped in cling film and a sleeping bag, buried deep underground in an allotment on Grobby Road, Leicester. The allotment David had a sign on it. "Don't wind me up, I'm running out of places to hide the bodies." Whether he knew about the sign or not, only he can answer. Over the next couple of days, they continued to cover up the crime. They moved her car from Coventry to Leicester and then wiped all the fingerprints and DNA, then proceeded to abandon it in Luton. After Samina didn't show up for her Boxing Day celebrations with her family, the police were informed and they launched their search, which was later codenamed as Operation Ceramic. Her car was found on 4th January 2015 on a quiet street in Luton. Her handbag was missing, her luggage and her shopping. The police found it suspicious when there were no fingerprints in the car and the driver's seat pushed too far back for her height. The missing persons inquiry then became no body murder inquiry. It didn't take long for detectives to piece together what had happened to her. Data from her phone revealed that she had travelled to Leicester with Roger. The bottle of Bellini she had bought for Christmas was found in David's fridge, the snacks in his cupboard, and her sat-nav in his attic. A tipper from the public came to the police. Archaeologists located the allotment and began the excavations. At the fourth day of the investigation, they found the edge of a sleeping bag. Once they lifted the flap, they knew they had found Sameena Imam's body. The brothers were arrested on suspicion of murder on 7th January 2015 and were charged 2 days later. They were both found guilty through a unanimous jury of murder. By Christmas, they were behind bars, serving a 30-year sentence.
Right. David, obviously the purpose for today for speaking to you is it's in connection with a missing person inquiry.
Okay.
A lady by the name of Sameena Imam. Do you know her?
I've seen the photo you've got.
Yeah.
I didn't know the name.
Is that the photo I've got down there?
Yeah.
That's a picture of the lady that's missing that we're making inquiries about.
Okay, right.
Have you ever met her?
Familiar. I've met twice someone who looked like that.
Yeah. And do you know her by that name?
No, I never knew her name.
No. Did you know her by any name?
No.
No. And can you tell me what you know about her?
She works with my brother.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Is that the best way to say that?
Oh, they were in a relationship.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Why would you not get that far?
Because he was in a relationship with this girl.
Oh, so yeah.
So.
Am I right in thinking that you met her on 2 occasions?
Yeah.
When was the first one?
I don't know which came first. I've seen her in the warehouse working.
Which one?
Crossroads, Coventry. When I went to see my brother once.
Yeah.
She was there.
Yeah. Did you talk to her?
No. Because what they were doing wasn't on the radar.
Yeah.
So, and then
and you were aware of that at the time?
I would have been. So that must be the second time. So she's been. He took her for a meal at a restaurant before.
Yeah. Were you aware that he was seeing her before he came to the restaurant?
No.
So that was that the first time then you'd ever seen or heard anything about her?
He might have mentioned. He's not the most loyal person. There might have been a couple that he's talked about. I wouldn't have put known faces or names or anything. So I won't say it was the first time I've heard of anyone. But it's the first time I met him.
Yeah.
In court, Roger admitted a message referencing Samina was coded between the brothers, but he wanted to see if she was seeing another man. Other evidence used against the brothers included numerous automatic number plate recognition hits showing vehicles that had travelled between Coventry and Leicester. The Cooper brothers' trial lasted only about 10 weeks, ending at the end of October 20th, 2015. The prosecuting counsel, Timothy Spencer QC, told the court Roger had lied to Samina regarding the ultimatum as he had no intention of ever leaving his partner. He only feared that Samina would tell everyone about their affair, which would then hurt his career and his other relationship. Instead of dealing with the consequences of his actions, he got his brother David, who was an ex-soldier, to help plot against and killing Samina in cold blood. While this is twisted, showing Roger's motive for murder, it remains a mystery as to why David had accepted to kill a woman he didn't even know. Judge Patrick Thomas QC told them, the use of a poison in this case such as this demonstrates a cold-blooded intention to kill, regardless of the consequences. You work together hand in glove in planning and carrying out the murder of a joyful and bubbly young woman, brutally betrayed by a man she loved and his brother.